Hi, I'm Cambear Run, and Boltgun is pretty fucking awesome. Yes, welcome to this impromptu review of 40k Boltgun. So, Boltgun was developed by Org Digital and published by Focus Interactive, the same guys who are actually publishing the Space Marine 2. Funnily enough, this game, sort of in terms of plot, is almost like Space Marine 1.5. Effectively, you play Malam Kato, an Ultramarine sent to the Forge World of Graia, which is where the first Space Marine game is set, to recover the fragment that caused Captain Titus so much trouble. The taunts, which are absolutely awesome, but we'll get to that in a minute, do reference Titus and Sidonius, and nobody cares about Leandros, so fuck him. But yeah, it's pretty obvious that somewhat this is like an intermediary for the Space Marine games, but it's still incredibly fun. It takes the whole boomer shooter idea, but from my experience playing it, it's more Doom 2016 with the kind of pixelated graphics that kind of made up the old Doom games, but slightly more advanced. You can see on the screen, the game does look really, really good. You've seen me do the Lord of Change boss fight. But I found the gameplay is really fun. It's fast-paced, it's a good challenge. The weapon variety is great. Personal shout-out to everybody's favourite, the Melter gun, for being able to turn enemies into, well, melt. My personal favourite gun was the Heavy Bolter. It's very, very good for mulching small wave enemies and dealing with huge ones because you can actually stall them. Especially these sparring champions, it prevents them from moving. I found that brilliant because they were really annoying to deal with. But otherwise, a lot of the gameplay is... the gameplay group is fantastic. It's go to the thing, kill the thing. It's simplistic, but it works. Because effectively, it just gets you to indulge just the enjoy of being a Space Marine, being able to power through your enemies and, you know, crush in the name of the God Emperor. I mean, the taunt button doesn't do much, but oh my god, listen to it.
The blood waters is the seed of the Imperium.
Yeah, that's just insane. That was just insanely fun to deal with. The other things I would also give them credit for is that it is, for what was effectively a 17 quid odd game, it's actually pretty long. There's got 3 extensive chapters with its own story unfolding, and there's a lot of replayability in terms of like getting 100% mission kills, doing it on every single difficulty, especially the hardest difficulty if you really want to test yourself. I have played one of the missions on the hardest difficulty, the Primarch difficulty. It was incredibly fucking difficult. I eventually just couldn't do it. There's loads of little things as well, like the fact that they call armor in this game contempt, which is an old phrase about my armor is contempt. I'll put the actual message up on the screen. But the fact that, like, there's a lot of, like, references, like, the only thing I would say is that, obviously, if you're not massive on Warhammer 40k lore, you might struggle with some of it, but that's not a problem for me. I am very much a 40k nerd. I think it's not completely perfect. My first major gripe, I would say, is that I didn't have a lot of fun during the boss fights. I have never been a fan of using minion waves in boss fights. I think they get in the way and they get very, very annoying. I think you can see through some points in this while I'm playing through the game, I literally couldn't hit the Lord of Change because the minions kept getting in the way. It gets really more annoying. I think my personal one that I really didn't enjoy was the Great Unclean one because of the waves of Nurglings that constantly spawn. They get incredibly difficult to deal with, and they can overwhelm you very quickly, and it makes it kind of a difficult experience. I know some people can deal with that, and there are tons of bonuses that get through the game. Things like the damage mods, the specific bolter rounds like Vengeance rounds, Hellfire rounds. But it kind of creates too much on the screen. It sometimes doesn't help with the extended level design as well, which you can, if you're not careful, you will get lost in. I think the other one, while all of the weapons I enjoyed, the only one I didn't is the Volkite Cavalier. I think that would have been better off putting in something like a Flamethrower, or potentially even... oh god, what am I thinking of? Potentially even something like a Multi-Melter. Just a heavier version of the Melter gun to wipe out larger units. Because the Volkite Cavalier is like, it's like a worse version of the Grav gun. I think other than that, otherwise, I think I would have just taken another melee option. Yes, the Chainsword is incredibly fun to use, but admittedly, I would have loved to see something like a Power Fist or a Power Axe. Something to really cut through mid-level enemies to give out extra blood, that little extra bit of fun. Especially something like a Power Fist, because there's already the Barge feature, which I didn't use that much. It says right, I'm using on cue. But something similar to that to be able to knock back enemies as well. But yeah, I had a really, really fun time with the game. It is overall, it's a really, really good game. It's great if you want to try like the boom shooter experience, and I think it captures the feel of being a huge Space Marine. First, I've just noticed my Gatto's kind of screwing up with the footage. It's too late to re-record now. But yeah, it really gets the kind of feel of being a Space Marine. Especially, you know, things like being able to jump off ledges and you will squish. You will squish enemies on the way down, and I just love that feature. But yeah, it's really, really, really fun. I think could have used a bit of polish. Again, could have used some extra options. I don't like what they did with boss fights, but otherwise, it's a really, really great game. It's only, what, 20 quid? I think about $20, £16. I would definitely recommend checking it out, and it's a great precursor to Space Marine 2 as well. Since it seems to be the story mode, it seems to be the bridge in between those two. But yeah, I would certainly recommend checking it out. Otherwise, that's basically it. Anyway, I'm going to get back to Battle Sector starting from tomorrow. I will also try and do Inquisitor Martyr before the month is up. I said I was going to stream that. I might just do a sort of like, if I know, I'll probably will stream. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like. If you want to see more, you can always subscribe. I've been Campbell Run, and thank you for watching.